Ladies and gentlemen, this may be the last video I record about chess games ever again in my life. I saw something today that was so sickening and so vile that it made me want to uproot everything. It made me want to walk away. It made me want to reinvent myself as an individual. And I'm going to share this with all of you. And I would like for you to try to pick me up. You know when you have a friend who's down, you talk to them, you try to make them feel better. We don't know each other on that level, but I do read the comments, and I want you to tell me your journey in chess over the last few years. I want you to share with me some positive words of encouragement, because what I am about to show you is going to absolutely ruin your day. Make no mistake, you are going to laugh hysterically while this is happening, but this is evil. What I'm going to show you is vile, it is sickening, it is disgusting, and I have been sitting here thinking of what to name today's video. I don't know if I have it within me to keep going, but I am going to do my best. Our protagonists are Should I Retire, playing from the United States of America, a nameless player with the white pieces, and Matthias. Matthias submitted this game on a subreddit that I saw. And this is the most disgusting conclusion to a chess game I have ever witnessed. And I have witnessed some million chess games probably, or played. Sit back, relax, my friends. Please do me a favor. Watch this video in its entirety. You will not be able to anticipate what is going to happen. Get the hands off the controls. Take your hands off the keyboard. Put the smart TV remote down. Have a little bit of patience. You must witness this firsthand and experience the emotions and pain that I felt when I was watching this game. Matthias starts the game e4, e5. His opponent plays pawn to d4. This is a 5-minute game with 5-second bonus time, which in many cases can go even slower than a 10-minute rapid game. This is the Danish gambit. Black responds with pawn takes d4, and the idea of white is to give a pawn as follows to open up very quick development possibilities. Many people, when facing this opening, will simply capture the pawn on c3, and that is exactly what our protagonist does here with the black pieces. There are other moves like d5, like knight f6, like queen e7 actually is a critical move. But when you're just first starting out and your opponent offers you two central pawns, it's generally a good idea to capture on c3. And now white plays knight f3, which is clearly some form of preparation, because white is not stupid. Knight c3 and bc3 are both very easily available. White does this so that after c takes b2, bishop takes b2, there is some very meaningful pressure on the black position. Well, Matthias captures the pawn on b2. There is nothing wrong with this move. You are allowed to capture free pawns in the opening against gambits so long as you then wear the seatbelt on the roller coaster that follows. So it's the 5th move of the game. Black is down 2 pawns, but white has very powerful development already, very powerful opportunities to open up attacks on the black position. The onus is now on black to play defense in a sufficient way to deal with the situation that you have developed for yourself. And black does the most important thing, which is knight to f6. Now, if I'm playing with white here, I'd like to go attack as fast as possible. Black can go wrong very quickly. Your knight can get kicked around multiple times. White can activate the bishops. And this is just kind of a migraine of a position for black to play through. But white doesn't play e5. And white does not play in any sort of gambit style. White plays queen c2, which is a nothing move. I mean, queen c2 is just not a good move. And if you're playing now with black, you should very quickly speed up your own development and castle your king, because then not only did you get to rob the bank, you also got a Uber Black to go to the airport and fly away. Uber Black is a luxury car service. I don't know how big it is in other parts of the world. Some of y'all have banned Uber, which, you know, I appreciate. We'll never do that here in America because capitalism. But knight c6. Knight c6 is a very reasonable move. Again, white should consider attacking with e5. White plays bishop c4, which I don't hate at all because you are developing pieces, and now black responds d6. d6 is not a good move. It is not a good move, but I told you, the conclusion to this game is what's going to make you sick. Before the conclusion, you're actually going to learn a few things, all right? So that's why I wanted you to watch for a little bit. Also, do tell me some positive words of encouragement in the comments, because if you don't, this really might be it, folks. Okay, I'm not going to spoil anything. Black should play check and castle. Like, black needs to speed up the development or attack in the center. D5 is not, the D6 is not terrible, but now this comes in. And Matthias is under some very, very, very serious pressure. He is now nearly losing. He needs to play D5 to block out the bishop. He plays knight E5, which is a losing move. It's a losing move because white can simply take and then take again. And not even with the knight. White can actually force the king out and then get in there with the queen a little bit later, and it's game over. Knight E5 is played, and white plays defensively. White plays bishop B3, which I just don't understand this, because if you're going to play a turbocharged opening, like if you're going to buy a car with 400 horsepower and you're going to drive it at like 5 kilometers an hour to the local park or supermarket, I don't understand why you bought that car and didn't just keep to the bicycle. But again, if you're going to play an opening with a ridiculous engine like this, like, you got to cash in when the opportunity presents itself, because right now you're just going backwards. And now Matthias plays queen e7, and he's kind of more or less defended himself, and now he kicks out the knight. Matthias is in great shape. Now if white plays knight to f3, black has a very simple job. Take, play bishop h3, maybe go for an attack of your own. So life is good. In fact, it's so good that white panics and plays this. White is just losing. Just knight takes f7. Black is just up a full piece. The opening is a complete disaster for the white side. Now all Matthias has to do is develop a couple of pieces and castle. He's up a piece and a couple of pawns, or one pawn. White plays the move rook e1. That move does nothing. You're up material, right? Trade the pieces. Trade the pieces. Your position is so good, you don't even care if you lose a pawn. Bishop e7 and castle. Castling the king should be the objective. Two most important ways to decide who has a better position in chess, material and king safety. Your opponent's going to meme around too hard and accidentally lose their bishop too. Bishop e6, you should be looking to exchange. What black should not be doing in this position is trying to open up the center of the board, because their king and queen are still there. And that is exactly what he does. He plays the move d5. d5 doesn't blunder e takes d5, because that's made. That was Matthias's idea. It's actually a decent idea, but it's a very one-dimensional idea. He played d5, hoping for e takes d5, and simply taking on e1. But his opponent now can just play like a knight move, and it's only trouble. You don't want to open up the center when your queen and king are there. Now, some of you watching this right now might have been very annoyed that I'm going to show you this entire game after showing you such a very dramatic introduction. But my friends, I told you in the beginning, please just trust me. It's so easy to click ahead and skip and this and that. You don't want to miss this. You don't want to miss the story. When you go to a movie theater, when you watch a movie on a streaming service, you don't try to jump ahead. You want to watch the whole movie, right? I just saw Bullet Train on Netflix. Highly recommended, by the way. My wife picked out that movie. Hilarious movie. e5. Knight e4. And now bishop takes d5. And now Matthias is going to suffer, my friends, because Matthias's king is stuck in the center of the board. And he puts his knight out here, and he just forgets about it. Like, he should go here. He should go here. He should go here. Instead, Matthias just... The bishop just took the pawn. Matthias attacks the bishop, and it could just go here. I don't know what he was thinking. I don't know what he was thinking. But bishop f7 is played, and then queen e4. Now we got ourselves a game, my friends. The bishop develops. Great move from Matthias, and he decides he's not going to develop and castle short. He's just going to castle long. It's a very bold decision. Personally, I think it's better to castle this way. The reason is the king is much safer. When you castle on opposite sides, you really, really, really like to go on the roller coaster. Like, you want to go right back. And in this position, castling queenside is the equivalent of going on the roller coaster, vomiting a lot, and then just going right back on the roller coaster. Like, this is very aggressive stuff. But I don't hate it, all right? Buckle up, because it's about to get crazy. So white now should move the rook over here, should move the knight over, over in this area, and should play a4, a5, a6, or queen a4, targeting the pawn. White plays rook d1. It's not a terrible move, not a terrible move. Now, if I'm playing with black here, I want to put my bishop to line up this way. I want to put my bishop to line up with the pawn. I want to put my rook on the f file. That's the way I'm thinking of attacking here. What I don't want to do is just wander off to the side of the board to take a pawn just because it's capturable, and that's exactly what black does. That's not a good move. It's not a good move because the quality of the pawn is terrible, okay? It's very unpredictable whether or not this is going to kill you. The best example that I can give is imagine you get up from your seat after watching this video and writing your positive comment, and then you go to the forest, and there's a mushroom on the ground. You don't know anything about mushrooms, but you look at it and you go, well, I've eaten mushrooms before, so I'm going to eat this mushroom. There's a chance the mushroom kills you, okay? That's what this is. There's a chance it doesn't, but there's a chance it does. So I would not eat that random mushroom on the ground. I would try to get a little bit more information about it and make an educated decision. And I'm not really sure that opening up the A file there for the opponent is the best decision. But okay, Matthias does it because Matthias does what he wants. All right, queen g4 check, bishop e6, and now white trades the rooks. Now, my friends, if we do a little bit of simple mathematics here, black has more pawns. Not only does black has more pawns than white, black has 3 on 0. So in every single endgame, black is completely winning, and I am saying that without any sort of exaggeration. Black is completely winning in every single endgame, except maybe a queen endgame, because in a queen endgame, your king safety is actually quite valuable. You can't just go pushing your pawns. By the way, in about 5 days from recording this video on June 11, 2023, I am putting out my Middle Games Masterclass course. So if you ever wanted to skyrocket your ability in endgames, and you should check it out. And speaking of which, right now, yeah, black is completely winning. This is over. It's over because you just got to activate your bishop and bring your rook, trade the rooks, trade a bit, and just go. Just go. Don't hate this move. You kind of walked into a fork, but nicely done. Rook e1 gets the bishop out of the way and just push the pawns. It's over. The advantage is the biggest it's been. You play a5. That's a massive warning shot. You got this fork coming if they're not careful. That's it. Play bishop c6, put the rook back, and just go. They can't stop you. They just can't stop you. There is absolutely nothing that white can do. White can stop 1 pawn. White could even, by a miracle of God, stop 2. You can't stop 3 connected passed pawns on an even board. It's just not possible. I don't like g5 because you're playing on the wrong side of the board. You're not stronger there. There's nothing there for you. You have to know how to play on the right side of the board. And after king c6, you actually lose one of your pawns. You are still winning. It's less of an advantage, but you're still winning because you have a5, b5, and the like. And this is still a winning endgame because of the nature of the connected passed pawns. The longer that this endgame goes, the higher your advantage will balloon. You will play bishop e6, and then you'll play a4, and this is a completely winning endgame. But that doesn't happen. Here, white plays rook a4, black can play king c5, king b5, pawn to b6, then king c5. You obviously shouldn't give away your rook. But black is running a little bit low on time. I mean, king b5 is the top computer move, so I don't hate it at all. This is excellent, bishop c6. There's also one little trap here, which is rook e5. The bishop now no longer hits the rook, and if rook takes bishop, there is rook e1. That's a nice little spotting of a tactic, but okay, we don't see it. Again, you gotta move the pawns. I don't care about this. You gotta go a4. You gotta go b5 later. Rook d8, rook d2. h5 is played. Fine. e6, a4. Beautiful stuff. There we go. Nice and focused. Okay, I don't really know what rook c8 does, but maybe you got ideas of back rank checkmate. The bishop slides out of the way. There's no back rank checkmate. And now, my friends, rook d5 check is played. And because black has 13 seconds on the clock, black panics and plays rook c5. And as you can see, that just simply loses a rook. It not only does it lose a rook, it really loses the game. Black has 17 seconds on the clock. If you were listening, I told you that in the beginning of this game, 5 second side get a bonus per side because it's 5 minute with 5 second bonus. White pushes the pawn now 1 score away from promotion, and now white is going to demonstrate some form of a winning technique. Now, you've watched enough of my videos that you know that there is a plot twist coming. You are not wrong. There is absolutely a plot twist coming. What kind of a movie would it be? What kind of an intro would I have given if there is no plot twist coming? But when I tell you that you have absolutely no idea what is about to happen, you really don't. You have absolutely, unless you've seen the game, you really, really do not know. Rook c8, queen, it's over. You have seen it all on this YouTube channel. You have seen all types of games. You have never seen what is about to unfold in front of you. I hated this when I saw it. I never want to do this again. Black plays b5. Don't resign, by the way. If you resign in this position, I don't know what you're doing. Do not resign. Rook e6 check. You have to earn the right to resign in chess. You got to get to a certain elo for that button to even illuminate. King a5. The way you win this position with white is you take enough pawns that you can just sneak a pawn through and make a queen. You do this in a way where black constantly has legal moves. You want to avoid stalemates. So if you need to sacrifice some material to bring the king out into the open, you do that. B4, right now, bishop b4. I don't mind this move at all. This is a fantastic move, deflecting the king from the defense of the pawn. Beautiful. Rook is cutting everything off. There is no stalemate here in a million years. You have a dark squared bishop, so make sure the light squares are available and make sure you don't accidentally cover away all the squares. Rook g5, rook h5. And the way you win this is you can put a rook on a square on the same color as your bishop, so you anchor it and it can never be taken. You make a queen and you deliver a ladder checkmate. And that is exactly what white did. White played rook e5, f5, king d7. There is no way to get to the king, and that's it. Beautiful technique by white. Spectacular. Could not have done anything better myself. But suddenly white got greedy. In this position, white thought, look, I have a ladder mate in like 8 different ways, right? Ladder mate, simple. Zig, zag, boom. But my opponent's not resigning. And I'm not going to win on time anytime soon because they get 5 seconds every time they make a move. So I'm going to BM. Bad manners. The players are well within their right to do this. When you play a game in chess on chess.com, you sign up with an undisclosed social contract to your opponent. You are allowed to not resign. You are allowed to use the duration of the clock. You are allowed to make your opponent checkmate you. And your opponent is allowed to do this. Now, where it gets unethical or, you know, egregious or disrespectful, is this disrespectful by white? Yes. White is not playing in the most optimal way to finish the game. But not resigning is not considered unethical. It's not considered egregious. You absolutely should not resign because your opponent is 800. And your opponent is now going to make 3 queens. This is the position. 3 queens, a rook, a bishop, and a pawn, and there are 90,000 different mates in 2 in this position, probably, all right? Literally, if you could calculate a program to determine how many mates in 2 there are from this position with white, it's thousands, I would imagine, different iterations. Okay, queen f6, now this is mate, the mate, there's so many mates, right? Mate, so many mates. But queen g6. Again, what is happening here is white is playing in the style of bad manners, right? The players are shuffling. It's all fun and games. This is very funny. You haven't earned the right to disrespect people like this. You are 800. Do not disrespect people like this. You got 9,000 mates in 1 in this position. Queen d2. Queen d2 is a pretty crazy move. And this is actually the beginning of the memes. Black now has no legal king moves. So black plays a3, and if white takes this, it's a draw. It's actually a stalemate. Look at the eval. It's a stalemate. I think white knows that, though, and white can still give a mate. White still can give mates all over the place. But white plays bishop c3. White allows a2. White's really playing with fire here. That's mate. That's mate. All of these different moves are mate. That's mate. That's mate. White doesn't want it. In this position, white plays queen to d4 and allows a queen. White's really playing a little bit with fire here because you know what's going to happen in this position? White is going to screw this up. What white failed to realize in their bad mannering is that this is stalemate, and now you have a situation known as crazy queen. The queen can now sacrifice herself with check. And this is the way that white was punished for this game. I told you in the very beginning of this video, this is making me sick. This is vile. This is disgusting. This is evil. This is terrible sportsmanship. Horrible. Now, black just has to sack the queen in a way that white cannot capture it. If white is able to take the queen with one of the queens, it's no longer a stalemate. So that's what white does. White plays queen d2 check. And it's looking like it's supposed to be, but white just has there's just checks now. Black just gives checks. King back to d3. It's a draw again. I can't believe this. This is absolutely ridiculous behavior by white, and white fully deserves the karma that they received for this game. Queen to d2 check. Queen to f4 check. White is panicking. They've dug this hole for them, and now they're losing a queen. They can't even take it back. They can't even take it back. White runs, black gives another check. White runs, black gives another check. White blocks. Oh, now white is getting somewhere. All right, white finally figured it out. Because now any check, you can just run your king, and it's no longer going to be a stalemate. And that's exactly what white does. In this position, white now realizes they can run the king, so they do, and they get checkmated in one move on b7. White lost up 3 queens, a rook, and a bishop. You thought there was gonna be a stalemate. You thought there was gonna be something like that. That is not what you saw coming. This is the most disgusting thing I have ever seen occur on a chessboard. From this position, black won. I'm done. I am done with games. I am done with chess. I am finished. Tell me some nice things in the comments for why I should stick around, because this ain't it. This ain't it. Now get out of here.